Have you ever watched Disney movies and wondered what those castles could look like in real life? Well, in today's video, we will be looking at the world's most luxurious castles, from structure, architecture to the interior design. This is Luxury Life, the right place that will satisfy your luxury appetite. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, give us a big thumbs up and ring that notification bell for updates. 10th in our list is the Kapi Palace in Istanbul. This palace has been home of the sultans for centuries, and after 400 years, it still has its royal flair to it. In the course of time, the palace was turned into a museum with beautiful scenery, facing a marvelous strait. In 1985, UNESCO selected the palace to be one of its World Heritage Sites. A visit to the palace is highly recommended, as everything there is truly remarkable. Consisting of 4 courtyards with antique ornamental gates, its Harem Topkapi is big enough to accommodate royals without crowding. The former imperial treasury has become an exhibit wherein it boasts of the old Ottoman weapons and armors. A gallery consists of photos that show the Ottomans' work all throughout this time. But what completes a Turkish palace? It's their unique bathrooms made to provide relaxation to anyone who enters it. 9th is the castle that is situated on a hill overlooking the beauty of Scotland. Know what I'm talking about? It's the Stirling Castle, known to be a fortress in the old times. Historically speaking, the location of the castle was to help the people see attackers from a distance. It was the home for many of the Scotland's kings and royal families over the centuries. But since we're in modern times, the castle has been turned into a tourist attraction. Its first foundations were built in the 1940s and was used as King James IV and James V's royal stage. We can see that there's been a few influences in the architectural design of the building. German and French elements can be seen. It's said that the kings have very great architecture and that after 5 centuries, this fortress is still applauded for having amazing architectural design. And with only £12 million, the castle was restored. It is now home to ancient fabrics and tapestry. Its bedrooms and ornamental gates were also restored, and today we will be able to see the original cannon still there, but facing towards the sea and not towards enemies. Stirling Castle is now one of the preferred concert venues in Scotland. Artists who were able to perform there are Bob Dylan, Rob Stewart, and Ram. Moving on to our 8th, the Eltz Castle, built in 1137. The Roman Empire, together with his family, took residence in this castle, and they were known to resist the leadership of the Archbishop, which resulted in the diocese creating conflict against them that lasted for 2 years. The castle wasn't strong enough to withstand battles and wars, but its beauty and prominence was nicely maintained for a century. Just like the castles we've mentioned earlier, Eltz Castle has also become a museum, and tourists love it, especially when they see the old artifacts of silver, gold, the weapons and armory, revealing how wealthy the family really was. The descendants have acquired multiple properties over the course of 1,000 years. If you were still in high school right now, which among the 3 castles would you like to go on a field trip to and why? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. The Windsor Castle takes our 7th spot. William the Conqueror took all the wealth he was able to store and invested it in the castle. If you don't know, this castle is the oldest and most occupied in the world. While most of the castles have been turned into museums, the Windsor Castle up until today is still a residential property. The late Queen Elizabeth II is known for being a frequent visitor to the palace. The royal family would host visitation to different leaders of the state and show off the elegant castle to them. The paradisal trees that surround the palace are one of the oldest woodlands in Europe. Originally, these were used to hunting, but today, they are used for recreational farming. In 2017, a report came out which revealed that the worth of the castle would go up to $236 million. Our sixth is Chateau Chambord. This is arguably the most sophisticated property in all of France. The construction began in 1519 and it took 28 years to complete it in 1547. It was intentionally a hunting hut for Francis I, but later on, they turned it into an elegant French palace. Royals during that time were known for amassing wealth, and this is what led to the French Revolution in the 1700s, when people started to fight back and wanted to overthrow the royal family. Because of this, a lot of the furnishings in the place were stolen and some were sold. It's pretty challenging to pick a favorite spot in the Chateau Chambord, but guests and visitors could easily notice the stone spiral staircases, which goes from the ground to the second floor. The palace is right in the middle of a 13,000-acre land used as park and game reserve with many distinct red deer and other animals. This beautiful palace is now a favorite tourist attraction. Himeji Castle, the fifth in our list, is a classic Japanese castle. This castle was intended for war, and even though it already went through so many wars and bloodshed, there is a peaceful vibe that radiates from the castle. In 1300, the castle was built to be a watchtower, and because of its structure, it's been designated as a national treasure, being 1 out of 5 to receive this title. The castle's compound is a massive 533 hectares that is engulfed with luscious green trees and Japanese cypress. The castle has received so much attention when it gets featured in films. One of those is the James Bond movie. The palace, being one of Japan's tourist attractions, garnered 2 million visitors in 2015 alone. We're almost there, but let's give recognition to our fourth spot holder, the Edinburgh Castle. This castle overlooks Scotland with a very scenic view. It has witnessed wars, especially the Scottish independence that occurred in 1400s. And in a span of 1,100 years, the castle was intruded 26 times, giving it the title as the most attacked castle in the United Kingdom, and one of the most attacked in the world. About 70% of the tourists who visit the UK would really plan to go to the palace, and they'd witness the beautiful palace which has ceilings that are difficult to paint. They'd see the crown, the scepter, and the king's sword. The palace also provides a portrayal of the battles that occurred there before, together with the singing of traditional Scottish songs and wearing their traditional costume. Before we proceed to our top 3, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, ring that notification bell, and comment down below your top 3 favorite castles in the world. Moving on, third on our list is the Versailles or Versailles Palace. Versailles was originally just a tiny hunting hut with a ditch. And who would have thought that would become a place where the people of power will sit upon? Up until today, the Versailles is one of the most luxurious palaces, and that's been known all throughout history. The famous Hall of Mirrors is embraced in silver and gold with fancy chandeliers. The palace's value as of today is at $300 billion. The palace holds a number of lounges, each of which are designated to a Greek god. The Versailles would attract 8 million visitors every year. Marlborough Castle holds our second spot. The palace was built by a German knight in the 13th century. In 1457, some greedy hippies sold the palace to the King of Poland, Casimir IV, which later on became residence of the Polish royalty up until 1772, when the Germans took back what was originally theirs. The palace up to this day remains a part of the Polish historical monuments, and the people seek to maintain it this way for the years to come. Top 1. Neuschwanstein Castle. A German castle is based in Bavaria. The castle may look seemingly familiar to you. Well, that's because Walt Disney got its inspiration on the Sleeping Beauty castle in Disneyland from this. With such a stunning beauty and view, it is only fit to be a finalist as one of the 7 wonders of the world. If we convert it in today's exchange rate, the castle would be worth an extravagant $950 million. The castle can easily be seen no matter which direction you're from. Completely established in 1886, the castle demanded an enormous amount of materials. 465 tons of Salzburg marble were used to build the palace. 1,550 tons of sandstones, and guess how many bricks were required for it? 400,000! Presently, the castle welcomes tourists and guests. That's it for today. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, ring that notification bell for updates. This is Luxury Life, the right place that will satisfy your luxury appetite. See you in our next video.